Robin.
Let's bring in Ty and Ty West and Sarah Paxton.
And Sarah. Yes, the movie, of course, The Innkeepers. On video on demand.
Woo.
And then
Starstruck.
in theaters February 3rd. I know, isn't it like, oh man.
Hey Ty.
I know.
It's like a whole
Nice to
nother
meet you.
thing.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Amy.
I'm Sarah.
Loved you in the movie.
Thank you. I heard all about it. I was listening to the show.
Yeah, Amy was at the premiere.
Yeah.
That was fun, man.
It was really fun. It was scary.
And I don't go to the movies for anything because I hate going
you
to the
looked weird
theater.
in the movie.
I know, it's like all
you've never been there
squirmy and
before.
stuff. But it is cool seeing like everybody reacting to it, you know. It's
we had a good screening last night at this new place in Brooklyn called the Nighthawk.
Yeah.
Which is in Williamsburg.
You gotta talk right into that mic. Sorry, Ty.
No worries.
We want you to.
And so
them to hear you.
it's like this kind of movie theater, excuse me, a place where you can order food and drinks while you watch the movie.
That's the best.
And it's like
those are
ground
great,
zero
yeah.
Williamsburg, so I think it'll do really well. But we had a really good turnout, and it was similar to the Lincoln Center. It was a good vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw people tweeting about it.
How's that working out with people like being able to drink in the movie theaters?
Oh, it's a disaster.
Yeah, I bet it is.
It depends on what they order. If it's a bunch of Heineken, it's going to be a good movie. If you hear a lot of Old English and Colt 45, lots of talking.
Yeah, that could be.
It's
an
Williamsburg,
issue.
so you don't get as much of that.
Hey,
Well, yeah.
Just a bunch of hot seats.
Yeah, I was gonna
Can we
say,
get the
so
basics
too.
out? What's the movie, about, Ty?
The movie's about these two nerds that work in a haunted hotel, and they want to get proof that it's haunted before it goes out of business. And Sarah Paxton is our main nerd. And she starts doing some ghost hunting, trying to get some evidence, and she gets in over her head. So it's sort of like it's a horror movie, but it has a sense of humor to it, and it's sort of about these like minimum wage type people who get in over their heads, and it was a big kind of response to like those ghost hunter shows, because I watch those shows all the time, but and there's about 4 of them on TV, and they're in probably season 4, each of them. Like, they're really successful, but they've never found a fucking ghost ever.
Nothing happened.
I can't believe it's still on.
And what other job can you fail at every week and get another series?
Opie and Anthony radio show.
Yeah. You're basically telling everyone ghosts don't exist. Great.
Yeah, they proved.
I kind of want them to exist.
To their show.
Yeah.
I like the promos though. Make you think that wow, they finally found something.
Every time.
It's like, what's that? Oh my God! Oh! Next week and you're like, and then you watch it and you realize the guy spilt his coffee.
Yeah.
That was the scream.
So I always thought, even though these people are like, there's nobody better at ghost hunting than these people, if they actually found a ghost, they would just freak the fuck out.
What would they do?
Like, I don't know what to do, and just run away. So that's sort of what happens with that is pair in the movie.
Quite the gist of what goes on, because as you guys are going around the hotel looking for something with various electronic equipment and recorders and stuff, I was looking going, I would be freaking out just walking around the place.
Oh, gosh.
And you guys kind of courageous with that, but the second something starts happening, that's when you start freaking out.
Yeah.
It's like, but what were you looking for? It's like, I didn't expect to see this shit. Then you get scared.
I think
All
it's
the
just
preparation
scary.
out the window.
I think it's just scary when you don't know what you're looking for. My sister and I, we went to a bed and breakfast. We went to Lizzie Borden's house.
Oh, great.
The chick who killed.
She hacked her parents up with an axe.
Killed her parents with an axe. You can stay at the house she murdered her parents in. And I
How
left.
much time has to go by before that's an attraction?
Not much.
Yeah.
Can I stay at the Casey Anthony house?
Yeah. OJ, knock.
OJ house.
Well, they knocked it down.
We're right almost there.
Jean Bonnet's almost there. That lovely Colorado house.
That's right.
You can
Turn into a
nuts.
bed and breakfast. That'd be nice.
Skiing while you're in town.
Yeah.
Cereal
Yeah.
bowls,
Shaped like little
Burger,
cowboy hats.
Some bagels.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Did you see it was House of the Devil your first movie?
No,
Or-
it wasn't. That's the movie I did before this.
Yeah.
It's actually my
I love
third
that movie. Did you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
that movie? Oh my
What's
God.
the name of it?
House of the Devil.
Yeah.
So good.
Do you write and direct these both?
I do, yes.
Or do you find that you would rather direct your own stuff because you don't trust other people to do it?
Yes. I get sent a lot of scripts, and it's very hard for me to... It's because writing and directing and to some degree editing are just filmmaking to me. So when you read someone else's script, you're kind of like, well, I don't know what the fuck he's thinking.
Right.
But when you write it yourself, if anyone has a question for you, you're like, well, I have the answer because I made it up. And I also just, the kind of movies that I like are the movies by writer-directors because I feel like there's always like a voice to those movies, and you can tell it's a Coen Brothers movie, or you can tell it's a Terry Gilliam movie, or you can tell, and it's because they have this sort of like, I don't know, auteurish vibe to them, and those are the kind of filmmakers I like. So that's, and I don't know, for the process, it's important to me.
Right.
The process.
Plus, there's no writer. They say, you're bastardizing my work. What are you doing? Giving me shit about
to
it.
do that, because writers get very precious. I'm not a very precious person, so, like, if Sarah's like, this line sucks, I'm like, I know. Let's not say it. You know,
Then don't say
I didn't know
it,
until you said it, but it's not good.
Did you direct Precious?
I wish. I wish.
So if she changes a line, or one of your actors wants to change something, you're cool with that?
Absolutely not.
That's great.
No.
Rule with an iron fist.
I think it's the kind of thing is that, like, I mean, maybe you can talk about it more, but I think you just gotta, you listen to it, and if it sounds like bogus, you can't do it. You know, and I think that's the easiest. I don't know why it should be a bigger deal than
That's why in the Innkeepers, the dialogue's very natural. I like that, too. And it's not a movie where it's, you know, the opening scene has to have some kind of a horrible, nightmarish quality to it, or else it's not a horror movie. Like, it's fun. It's two people, and they're in looks like a pretty shitty situation as far as their life goes. And then it builds into this really horrific, scary story. And the visuals also. Man, you hit on the stuff I hate in horror movies. I literally, like a little fag, I gotta hide my eyes because I get nightmares. That twisted fucking body isn't supposed to move that way. Shit. Ah! It gets me every time. Someone's not there and then they're there. That stuff gets me all the time.
Yeah.
And there's a horrific scene like that. In your movie, that I literally jumped and did a Jesus Christ.
There's an older gentleman that is a bit spooky in the movie.
Yeah, that is not fun.
No, especially if you've been molested.
Actually, all
Wait a minute.
Who said
That
that?
was not me.
Jiminy
You're
cricket.
possessed, I think,
Dios
Amy.
mio.
Yeah.
Is this your first movie, Sarah?
No, it's not.
You've done a lot of stuff.
I started acting when I was 6. So.
Aw, that's adorable.
So I should probably have
No.
a IMDb thing in front of me, but I don't.
Anything else
why
we
would
would
ya?
know you in?
Probably not, unless you have like a teenage daughter or.
Yeah, you've done a lot of films. You were on
girlfriend. No.
You were in
Daughter,
House on the
girlfriend.
You were in Last House on the Left.
I was in Last
right?
House on the Left.
No, you've
Yeah.
worked a lot more than the teen stuff.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Last House on the Left I did a couple years ago, and ever since then I've been doing like more horror-y.
When I met Sarah,
Yeah.
she did this movie called Aquamarine where she plays a mermaid.
Yeah.
And every 16-year-old girl is obsessed with Aquamarine. So when we would walk down the street, like I wasn't that familiar with Sarah, but we walked down the street and you just hear like, oh my god, Sarah Paxton. And they were like, what are you doing in Torrington, Connecticut? Are you really a mermaid? And when I met Sarah, she was like, well, I can play a mermaid or I can get ass raped.
Yeah.
Those are my two biggest
That's
successes.
great.
They're like, are you funny? And I'm like, well, you know, once you've been ass raped, people don't think you're funny.
That's amazing. A lot of mermaids
Kind
don't
of
even have assholes.
Why do those
They
things-
have a lot to work with.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but no,
range
Sarah's
is
so
incredible.
good. I really liked how the characters, you and Pat Healy, right?
Yep.
The male lead. You guys were like coworkers, and there's a little sexual chemistry, but really you guys are just coworkers. You're equals. You don't really get. There's always like this kind of flirty vibe where it's either the guy or the girl is in the lead. But
I
you guys
see
were
more
just, like,
of him
friends.
having a little crushy on her.
Yeah.
and
Well, he has a
she's
penis.
just kind of
Oblivious.
yeah.
Right.
that'll
That's what
do it.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Well, we have a really good bio on Sarah. There's nothing on time, but let me read this. Excuse me, this might take
Oh,
a while.
here we go.
Oh, wow.
Really good job here.
Oh, let's hear this.
Sarah reportedly just found out the Bill Paxton is a distant relative of hers.
Wow.
And he pluralized the S in hers.
Who
What a
wrote
worthless.
that? It's worthless.
Well, there's
That is
another fact,
worthless.
another fun
Sarah
fact.
wrote it.
I did.
Factoids?
Sarah has
Right
also
here.
starred in films including Last House on the Left and in parentheses the remake, which is like a subtle fuck you to Sarah, which I didn't care for.
She's not a million years old.
And Shark Night 3D.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
bio.
Sharks
Were
are
you
in
scared of the
3D.
sharks?
No, they were fake sharks, puppet sharks.
Okay, but you never know.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there's a lot of shark-nanigans.
Right? There you go.
Shark-nanigans.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
Chip is in here.
Yeah. hi.
How did, yeah, like everybody's just getting up in fins.
Oh, I don't know, Chip. That didn't really make sense.
So wait, now, as an actor, what do you do? This is really a terrible question, it's corny, but when you're doing a role, are you like one of those method actors? You kind of become the person, or do you just like, I'm Sarah, now I'm not, now I'm Sarah?
Yeah, it's like that.
Are you like that?
Yeah. I'm Sarah. No, I'm not. No, yeah.
But I mean, like, are you able to just go in and out of it on the shoot?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for this, it was pretty easy because I was just playing like a more like George Costanza-y version of myself. Like we would do takes and like Ty he would say like, Gilmore Costanza, and so I'd like just really like go crazy with it. But other than that, I was just kind of being myself.
The thing about Sarah that's funny is I wasn't that familiar with her, and if you like Google image Sarah, it's all these very glamorous photos, and as it should be. And I was like, I don't know, she doesn't really seem like the minimum wage job vibe. And then
Just
when
say
I
it,
met
Hispanic.
her, yes, Mexican and Jewish. When I met her, she's like this goofball. And you wouldn't, even now, I don't think you're portraying yourself as well as much as you are.
I'm
so when I
it
discovered she was like a goofball, I just felt like I needed to exploit it. So in the movie, she's very clumsy, and it's hopefully very charming in that way. Because it's really about, it's like, hopefully a charming ghost story, because it's, you know, I'm either qualified to direct movies or be a busboy. I don't know how to do anything else. I have no trades. I have no skills.
No skills.
It's either make my own movies, or if I fail at this, I go back to being a waiter.
Yeah.
And but I'm like forever charmed by like the minimum wage jobs and that sort of like insular world of like your work friends and the weird barter system you have with like the coffee shop next door.
Right.
It's like they'll give you free coffee if you help them out. And so the movie is very much that vibe that turns into a ghost story.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it too, is the build of the characters and stuff.
And
yeah,
the girl
people like
that
to say slow burn. That's people's
Oh,
way
is that
of
what
saying
they call it?
It's just
Slow
nonstop.
burn.
That's all they say.
Man.
Slow burn, man.
And did you know Lena Dunham? She was the one working at the coffee shop. Were you guys friends? Or?
Yeah, oddly enough, have you seen her movie Tiny Furniture?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's great.
Some of it's based on me, which is a little unflattering.
Oh, wow.
But no, Lena
I'm
and I
gonna
are
get
good
outta
friends. You know, I lived at Lena's house when I was making House of the Devil for like 2 weeks until her parents kicked me out. But Lena and I are very good friends.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so I had her come out and do that day.
Yeah, she was hysterically annoying.
She's unbearable.
And that, just horrid.
She has an HBO show now.
Really?
Which is intense. Yeah, that
wow.
she wrote, directed, stars, and executive
What's the show?
produced in. It's called Girls. It comes out in April.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a plug for Lena. You owe me.
Yeah, I auditioned for it. Thanks for nothing, Lena.
Oops.
You've been in an amazing amount of stuff.
Thanks to me. I didn't get anything either.
The Boys of Abu Ghraib is not out yet. Is that about the prison? Do you play Lindy England?
No. I'm just the girlfriend back home in that one.
Oh, but it's about the what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, hot.
I'm one of the detainees, actually.
yeah, they really wanted,
Yeah.
they wanted
She's
to
the
go
top
off.
of the pyramid.
Obviously. Look at his face.
Who's playing Lindy England? I think it's John Larroquette. Good reference. But I'm pissed off I didn't see this. I do have
I wanna
it, and
see this
I'll watch
movie.
it tonight.
It's
Great.
video on demand.
Yeah.
You could see it now, and then February 3rd in theaters.
It's about time they're putting good movies on demand.
Yeah, I
was
like that whole thing too.
There was a time it was either movies that were already in theaters or movies that weren't really worth it. They just threw on
Yeah.
there, but that's not the deal anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think for like indie movies like ours, it's tough because the world of like indie sort of, I guess, art house theaters have gotten so small that like, we come out February 3rd in about 20 or so major cities. So if you live in a major city, you can go see the movie. But if you don't, you're like fucked. And the thing about VOD is like, you can just, like if you're in Des Moines, Iowa and you want to see the movie, you could just click your TV and there it is.
I think Kevin Smith finally made it. People realize that you're going to see cool movies on demand.
Yeah, I
that,
think
that
he did a good thing.
aren't necessarily
Yeah.
in theaters first.
He made a big enough stink with Red State. That
Yeah,
I think people paid
absolutely.
attention.
Finally, they're like, oh, okay, wait, this might be worth watching. Even though it
it's
wasn't
a
in
good
theaters
outlet.
first. Right.
Is it hard to get like a distributed by a major distributor everywhere? Like, what do? You show them your movie, and they're like, no, we don't think that this will. What happens? How does it
Well,
work?
we made this movie independently, so there's a company that gave us money to make the movie. We made it, and then we premiered it at the South by Southwest Film Festival, and a lot of distributors will go there trying to find stuff because they can't make movies on their own anymore for some reason. So they try to buy them for as cheap as possible and then make as much money as possible. Now, I've done 2 movies back-to-back with this company, Magnolia Pictures, which is like Mark Cuban's company, and they're amazing, and I have such a great relationship with them. And they're like an indie company that, like, kind of every year, if people see top 10 lists, they always have about 3 movies on there. Generally, they get movies nominated for Oscars. It's just like they have a really good slate, so it's a good company to be with. And there's a few other companies like that, like IFC is sort of similar.
Right.
And then there's like the Sony Pictures Classics and the studios that try to buy stuff. But, our movie, as much as I think it's commercial, and it's funny and it's scary, the commercial horror movies are like lowest common denominator movies. They're just like everyone getting killed every 10 minutes. So we don't quite fit that mold. And I think it's hard for a company like that to justify spending $40 million marketing a movie that doesn't have like, tits and heads getting cut off every 5 minutes.
I like this so much more. This was like right up my alley. Those other movies, it's all, I feel like it's all just geared toward like teenagers to keep their attention. Like, don't look away or you're going to miss somebody getting their like clit bitten off or something.
Well, what movie is this?
Sorry,
yes.
I guess I'm reading from my dream journal again.
That's the Boys of Abu Ghraib.
Oh, God. Yeah, I loved it.
And it's frustrating when you watch this. all they're doing is remakes. All they're doing is take Straw Dogs and shit. They're just retaking old scripts because they're such uncreative douches. And it's like independent movies are the only ones that feel original at all.
Yeah, the thing though is like it's kind of on us because people go and support the remake. So when a remake comes out and it's number 1 at the box office, they're gonna remake more.
Right.
It's that simple. So like us as like consumers, we've become so lazy. We're so used to everything coming to us that if there's a smaller movie, we don't really seek it out, or we're too lazy to do that. Which is what's good about VOD is you don't have to seek it out as much. You can just sort of like sit on your, dude, you got your coffee, boom, and that's all it takes.
Oh, you're familiar? Okay.
Dude.
You know what, dude? Boom, you got VOD, and hopefully I get HIV. I can lose some weight. You know what, dude? Boom, you got your dogs, you got your stomach.
You know what?
A lot of the best movies I've watched lately have been movies I didn't even know were out there, didn't know the name of it, who's in it, and then you're just kind of going around because it's such shit on television and stuff that you're like, all right, I'll give this a try, and then you realize, wow, that was really good. And I realized no one has seen this.
Yeah.
It's odd, but hopefully that turns around.
Movies are so bad. I've actually just started. I watched a drunk driving documentary on the Taconic Parkway.
It was my home movie. That's all right.
You were great in that.
You drink.
I've actually just started watching documentaries now because I have no faith.
Rule.
They're great, but there's no really good movies, so it's refreshing.
Netflix has been really good for documentaries because documentaries that you may not be familiar with, Netflix has just put them right in front of your face to be like, oh, that's interesting. I'd watch that.
And HBO on demand too. I like.
There are some subjects you'd just be like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like Winnebago Man.
History of Mud.
You see the Winnebago Man documentary?
That?
No, what's that?
It's a long story. It was a viral video, and then a guy decided to make a movie about him.
That wasn't that long of a story.
You have a short attention span.
That was like a novel.
That was like a novel. In my brain, that was a novel.
We go back. That's funny.
What the fuck?
Wow, I explained it perfectly.
You certainly did.
All right. Sean wants us to ask Sarah about the rape scene in Last House on the Left.
What about it? Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. He says it was crazy in capital letters, and it goes on and on and on.
It did. It went on and on. I was like, oh
Was
my
it
god,
hot?
this is like the longest rape ever.
Well, the rape in Clockwork Orange was kind of hot.
The rape in Clockwork, yeah, because they didn't really show her being hurt.
Way.
Yeah.
They just show the snipping and her, her beautiful body, but they don't show her being like, well, they do show her being slapped. I stand
Irreversible
corrected.
is quite the rape scene.
That's the most uncomfortable one I've ever watched.
He was at the screening last night, and he came up and introduced himself, and I'm like, rape.
People love hearing
The rape
that.
scene in Irreversible is the worst rape scene I've ever seen. It's worse than I Spit on Your Grave.
Spit on Your Grave is a nasty rape scene.
Who was in that
the
movie?
original?
It's French, and it goes in reverse, and I don't know any of the actors in it, but it was a pretty brilliant movie, and there's a rape scene in a tunnel, like where you walk underground to get across the street almost, and it's
like 9 minutes and it doesn't cut.
It's horribly
wow.
upsetting.
Wow, really?
Very upsetting rape scene.
And Sarah's
Terrible.
rape was pretty brutal, long.
It was long, yeah. It was.
There might have been some funneling of cum.
There was some
Did some funnel cum?
Yeah, it was.
Some
Yeah,
There was some funnel cake. It was kind of awesome.
I love funnel cake.
Who raped you in the movie? Like, what was the?
Garrett Dillahunt.
No, but what was his character and why would he?
His name was Krug, and he was like the mean, psychotic, weirdo guy. And he didn't like me very much. I guess we didn't get along, so he like shoved my face in the dirt. I don't know. That day he was like really freaked out. He was like, because I've known this guy since I was like 14, like last year, and he was like, oh my god, I can't do this. You're like a kid, I can't do it. And I was like, listen, dude, like fucking shove my face in the dirt, like get in there, like let's do this shit. And so yeah, I guess it was people. You're like, do it, pussy.
Wow.
He was like, oh my god.
Certainly
I was
for like a
"Suck
mainstream
up, bitch."
movie, it's pretty uncomfortable. It's as much as you could probably push it.
Is it tough to film a rape scene, Sarah?
Yeah, it was like exhausting, like crying and like struggling in the dirt. It was just like, I was like really tired after.
Like contract negotiation.
Yeah, no kidding.
Crying,
How
struggling.
long did it take to shoot that scene?
a day.
A whole
Oh,
day
wow.
of rape.
Whole day of rape.
I know.
In Africa.
In Africa.
Amy, could you handle that? A whole
I
day of
have.
rape?
So. And I apologize to the man I did it to. Oh, God. I
Sarah's
don't know.
being paid at least.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
What are you working on now, Tim?
I have this science fiction movie that I'm doing next. I have a movie at Sundance, and then after that's over, I'm hoping to go off and do this space movie. But it's weird. I mean, it's a tough time for indie movies. People don't like to invest as much anymore.
Yeah.
Because they see movies like Paranormal Activity get made for $100,000 and make $150 million.
It's like, where's my millions?
And they're like, let's do everything like that. And it's like, that's like you hit roulette big one time, and they're like, we should always do that. And
let's always play 36.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So it's a weird time. It's, you know, and as you were saying, Jim, like movies, they're not so good right now.
They're terrible.
Movies are pretty good, but the majority of movies, it's like, you know, as a filmmaker, you kind of have this existential crisis of like, oh, like what are we, like I don't really want to direct comic book movies, but that's like all there is to aspire to anymore. Right. And so that's kind of like, what am I going to do?
And Christopher Nolan does such a good job with those. It's going to be hard to top what he does because he really makes them interesting and not comic booky.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it's weird. And then I see movies occasionally that are like really amazing that like, they kind of humble you, or they almost intimidate you to want to quit making movies, and you're like, I'll never be as good as that.
Can you name one?
What have I seen this year that's good? I really liked Stuff for Everybody. I liked Melancholia a lot.
Yeah, that was
I just watched that.
fucked up,
I
man.
haven't seen that.
That was really good.
Yeah, that fucked me up.
Isn't that just the most like? The movie ends and you're like, great, let me just shoot myself.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I watched that with my mother. That added to the horror of the holidays.
Oh, God.
It's like
film.
Suicide
Yeah, it is
Pact.
a feel-good movie.
I've never even heard of this film.
Oh, yeah, well, it's aptly
Was that
titled.
Magnolia Pictures?
It is Magnolia. It's a Lars Von Trier movie with Kirsten Dunst, and she's depressed, and it's like really unpleasant to watch, but it's pretty amazing.
It's so odd. It
movies.
just starts out so weird. You're like, all right, a slow burn, you know, you kind of, you know, the characters, and I reached a point where it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
You know, just these, but really breathtaking slow motion
beautiful
scenes at the beginning.
Then
And you're like,
in the middle of the movie where she gets really depressed, and she just like can't get out of bed, and you almost like, you're like, oh, I gotta turn this fucking movie off. Like you feel the same way.
Yeah,
I took a break.
Yeah, you're just like, it's exhausting.
I did. It makes you feel. It really takes over your own emotions. I couldn't smile.
Usually
I
a few
can't feel.
filmmakers that can do that consistently. You know, I hate Bjork. Excuse me, but
you do?
I do. Well, I don't know Bjork, but
did you like her in that
probably
movie?
would get along. Yeah. But the Dancer in the Dark, like the end of that movie is so uncomfortable.
I watched that on a
Waves is
plane
so
to
uncomfortable.
Spain.
Ooh, that's a rough
Everybody
one.
watched Dancers in the Dark together. Yeah. It's horrible.
But there's so few filmmakers that are in that much control of what they're doing.
And your next movie's about space?
It is. It's it's about a woman that's doing pharmaceutical testing in space, and she's by herself, and she discovers she's pregnant.
It's so vast out there. There's so many stars.
oh,
Wow.
Sometimes you want to just show the director what you can do.
That's good. That's good.
Sometimes you just want to show what you can do.
I like what you're doing with your hands.
The word vast.
Can you imagine how much all of those would weigh? I cannot.
His hands are straight out. He does have a hand problem.
Oscar-worthy
Sometimes you know, Brett Ratner was in. I showed him a couple of things. Sometimes you want the directors just to see what you can do.
He is.
Oh my God.
The Yankee Peddler Hotel, the one in the movie. There's kind of a strange story about that because apparently it is haunted to some extent.
Yeah, when we made my previous movie, House of the Devil, we stayed at the Yankee Peddler because it was just the cheapest place to house the crew near where we were shooting. And we would make this satanic horror movie out in the middle of nowhere, but weirder stuff would happen back at the hotel. And, you know, I don't really believe in ghosts, so I'm not sure. Like, when I hear, like, a door open by itself, I don't jump to ghosts. You know? There's
you think wind
layers.
first?
I go wind, and then maybe shitty building, and then maybe someone walked away, and then I'll get to ghosts. But the whole town is obsessed with the place. They think it's haunted. The staff thinks it's haunted. There really is a guy at the front desk has a ghost hunting website, like in the movie. And our whole cast and crew started to believe it was haunted. And I didn't think much of it. There's just, like, goofy stories from House of the Devil. And then a year later, I wanted to make a ghost movie, and I was doing this studio movie, and I got fired. And I was like, you know what? That's good. I should just do my own thing anyway. So I just was like, well, I want to do a ghost movie, and I lived one, so I don't just write that because I know we could go back to that place and film because I know it exists. And I realized I wrote myself into a corner because if they had said no, then it was a colossal waste of time.
Yeah, you base it on that
but
place.
They said yes, and they had a window before their busy season. Now they're in foreclosure, so I don't know how busy it was. But
it's so annoying.
And so we had to schedule around a few wedding parties and proms, which the prom was very excited about Sarah being there.
Prom's
and yeah, we just slunk in and got the movie made. And I don't know, it's a weird place. Sarah has some stories about creepy stuff happening.
Yeah.
It was just like
Rape.
weird shit happening. raping. Lots of rape.
Yeah,
Lots of rape.
Ghost rape.
I was like, ghosts with benefits. I was like, again? But just like weird shit happening, like I'd be sitting in my room and all of a sudden my bathroom door would like violently fly open and I was like, this is the wind, creepy.
Like really, but not like a wind kind of just blowing it open.
Like, it was like, doosh.
Fly open?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
It was fucked up.
And then the room in the movie that's like the most haunted room in the story is like the honeymoon suite. And the only reason I picked it is because it was on the 3rd floor at the end of a hallway and it was big enough to do a dolly shot. Like it's no thought went into it besides like, all right, this will work. Let's get to this later. So we shoot the movie and then after the movie I find out that the room is the most haunted room in the hotel in real life. Now, that's a coincidence, but of all the rooms, it's odd when you add everything up. And then when I made House of the Devil, this Dee Wallace, who was in Cujo, and she was the mom in E.T.
Oh God, yeah. She looked like Chewbacca at the end of what was the Howling? Was she in the Howling? What werewolf were you?
Yes, she is in the Howling. Which she, almost gets raped in the beginning, so we can tie it
more
in.
rape.
But,
Ooh, talk slower.
she's great, but she also, what I didn't know about Dee is she has a very small scene in House of the Devil, and I went up to her room when she came to the hotel, and I was like, oh, it's so great to meet you. I'm glad you could come out. This hotel's a trip. They say it's haunted. I don't really know. And she was like, it is haunted. And I was like, okay.
And she was serious.
And then I discover, because she tells me she's a spiritual healer now. And she opens this thing and she has all these crystals. And she starts, and I'm like, what's happening? Like, how far are we going to go with this? And then she starts communicating ghosts the entire time she's there. And so there's a character in my movie it's not based on her, because Dee Wallace is like one of the nicest people I've ever met. And the character in the movie that is the actress that is the psychic is an asshole. So it's like I always very, very cautious to say Dee Wallace because it's like people will think, oh, Dee Wallace, she's like a sweetheart. Right. But the Kelly McGillis character in the movie is not so much. But that's where I got the idea because I got forced to sit there and be read by this. And I don't believe that stuff, but it's the closest I've ever come. It was weird. Yeah. And I would pawn her off on other people like, to give him a reading. And then everyone got creeped out because I don't know. It was pretty accurate.
What were some of the stuff she was saying that made it seem weird to you?
She kept saying that, like, the thing that weirded me out is, like, she kept saying, you have to make this decision about, like, a girl, and I didn't know what she was talking about. Also, I didn't believe anything she was talking about, so I was like, okay, but the House of the Devil is about one girl. So I'm like, well, maybe it's something with John. And she's like, it's not that. You'll know what it is. And I was like, I won't know, but we'll just keep going on. And she kept saying to me every day, and even after she left, she would email me. And
you're like, all right.
I get it.
And then, like, halfway through the process, we would drive out to this location. There's no service. So when you would come back from set in the morning, your phone would blow up with all your voicemails. And there was someone that I dated for a while that I hadn't talked to in like 7 months. Like, we just weren't talking. And I started getting these messages, like these 30-minute long crazy person messages. And they would end, and the next one would start with "I got cut off," and they would and they would come every day. And
hi, Ty.
Oh, it was you calling me?
Yeah, believe me. Oh Christ! Maybe we know the same person.
That's just 2 months shy of 9 months.
What do you think they were calling about? No, thank God. I sent her the money. We took care of it.
Okay, good. But that is a late term.
Yeah. Here's the trip. Have a nice fall.
Hey, we'll go down to the free clinic. Get one of those abortions.
Isn't it great?
Isn't this great?
So, but they just kept coming every day. And then at the airport on the way home, I finally was like, oh, I'll call her. And then we sort of like, I guess, reconciled or whatever. I don't know if that's what Dee was talking about.
A decision about a girl?
It's something. But she would say to other people stuff that would make them uncomfortable. And but what I can say about it is that when she was doing it, I have no doubts that she believed it 100%. Like, I don't think she's like, I'm doing this con of spiritual.
Right.
I was like, this woman 100% believes what she's doing. And so it was pretty interesting. And the fact that, like, the crew thought the place was haunted, weird things were happening. I just still don't believe in ghosts, because to me, I have to see a ghost before I would believe.
And be scared.
So you ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. But it's as close as I've ever come.
That is odd, though, to have written a movie and you're making the movie and staying in a hotel and then make a movie out of the experience of staying in the hotel while you made a movie.
Yeah, especially in, like, I no offense to Torrington, Connecticut, but it's sort of a shithole, and it's like, it's really bleak.
Shit was cray. It was cray.
And to go there and spend 2 months there and then go back again with the whole crew, and we're like, what are we doing back
there? Why would we do this?
Yeah.
Why didn't we pick Miami?
And it's funny, like, the places that were in business either went out of business or turned into a new company that went out of business, and it's just one of those weird places, like, it's something like Allentown, PA, where it's just like whatever their industry was is so far gone that they're just trying to hang on. But now that I've said it's a shithole, we were very warmly welcomed there, and it's great. It's just, it's a bleak place. Like, it's a weird place to spend
strange.
2 months.
How hard is it to just get a location like that? It must be, I mean, maybe not like that, but it seems to me like you'd get a lot of people just going, no.
Yeah.
Go away.
No one
Why?
wants
Don't
to
they want money?
Well, here's the way it works is either they want money and they say yes, and then they don't really know what a movie is, and then you show up with 60 people walking through their house, and they're like, this isn't what I signed up for. You're like, actually, it's exactly what you signed up for.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be one guy on camera.
But for me, the biggest paranoia I have on making a movie is that we're going to lose a major location. I did a movie that I tried to take my name off of that I got totally fucked on, and I did it in North Carolina, and we were shooting for 8 days at the University of North Carolina, and then they found out what the content of the movie was, and they wouldn't let us shoot there anymore. And it was our second week of shooting, and I remember sitting on the front steps with the DP, and the producer came out and was like, we're just going to call it a day and go home. And I was like,
wow.
That's it.
Why wouldn't they let you shoot anymore?
It's director of photography.
Well, because
yeah, it's not double.
they found out that there was like a prom with a dead baby in the trash can and full frontal discharging male nudity, and they just were like, that's not the kind of business we want to be in.
So how many more
Is there a problem?
weeks did you have to shoot there?
We were supposed to shoot there for a week and then go back to shooting other places, but we were going to lose that whole week there, which is a huge chunk of the movie. And it became, the producers were like, I think we just have to call insurance and say this movie's done.
Oh,
and
wow.
then me and
So
Elliot got in
heartbreaking.
a van and drove around to all the other schools and found other locations and somehow pulled a 24-hour day and pulled it together, which was really triumphant. But I was sitting there and it was like, wow. And that was my first big movie. It was probably the biggest movie to date. Like, it was a sequel, and it was something that like was like studio-ish, and I was like on top of the world, and like it just was like, wow, this is all going away. And then the sad irony is then we made it through and had a great experience, and then they took the movie away from me and re-edited it from scratch, and we got a huge fight. I tried to take my name off the movie. So it was like, what a weird, complicated process.
You fight so hard.
When you write a movie, do you see it like the beginning, the middle, the end? Or do you like go like, fuck, this hotel was really cool. They say it's haunted, and then you see a scene first. How does it unfold for you normally?
I think of like something that I think would be a good idea for a movie, and then I just sort of I write down all the like the major, like, this is how it starts, this is how, like you said, beginning, middle, and end, and then I just make it up as I go along and just sort of wing it. And I write very quickly because if I take a long time, I get really insecure and I want to give up. So like everyone always
Right.
like, I started writing a script and I got 30 pages in, then I got a better idea, and it's like that's what happens to everybody. But you gotta just keep plowing through because it's a really miserable experience. So I try to not take more than 4 or 5 days to write a movie. Like, I just don't leave the house because I know that it's like, it's not that hard to write a movie. It's just really easy not to. It's sort of like exercise. Like, it's not that hard to go running, but like it sucks. So you don't ever want to do it. That's how I feel writing a movie is. So I just force myself to do it like it's a job. And generally there's a moment when you're almost like you print it out and you're like, weird, 78 pages already, and you kind of get a second wind, and that's what helps me. But I just make it up. I go in order because that's the way my brain works.
I started a horror film, and I got to, it was a moonless night, and there were ghosts all over the darn place. And then I got stuck.
That is awful.
You should have him go to the Ghost Emporium.
There's ghosts here.
That's classic.
Oh my God.
It's hard, man. I've written like half-hour things. It's very difficult because it starts to come undone at one point. You're like, where the fuck am I going? I went off on a tangent. This stinks. My original idea blows. It's awful when you start writing something and you think about the original idea was shitty. Like you said, you like 30 pages and I got a better idea.
But that, I don't know if it's true. Like, I don't know, like, your idea might have been good, but like the it just starts happening and you have to fight through it because, like, if you just plowed through it and then went back and read it, you might be like, oh, it's not really as bad as I thought. But when you're in the shit, you're just like, this is the worst thing ever. Everyone's going to see that I'm a fucking idiot. Like, it just starts to, like,
I'm a fraud.
Well,
I'm a fraud. Well, my idea, I know it's a good idea. It's about a man with anal fissures whose dream is to be a relief pitcher for the Padres.
Okay.
And it starts off, he's on his deathbed.
Because that's what it's about.
That sounds like a great motion picture.
Yeah, it sure is.
Hey, are you related to Bill Paxton?
Oh, jeez.
Hey, come on.
We've heard recently that there's a development on this.
Yes.
It's already here. It's every Bill Paxton line. What are you doing?
I guess we're like distantly related. I don't know. I've never met him. So
Yeah.
my aunt's a
That is
genealogist.
so
and she was
interesting.
like, we're related. We're like 10th cousins, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's not even related.
I know, it's not.
At that
It's
point.
not. I just like to say that I am.
Yeah, boy, Get you in that.
he's
One day
my
you'll play his
uncle.
daughter in a movie and we'll all come together.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll rape you.
Maybe.
Oh, that'd be
daughter
awesome.
rapes.
Wouldn't it be great to be raped by Bill Paxton?
Oh, God, I think about it every day.
I'm gonna put it in your ass. Finger of God.
That's what I thought Wall Street was missing, because there was such a great scene between Martin and Charlie Sheen when he's in the hospital. I thought he should rape him while he's smoking.
That would have been great.
Really make that Gordon Gekko could come in and smoke. It's really good.
Wait, you were on Action with Jay Moore?
Yeah, it was his
I
daughter.
thought I recognized you.
No way, I was like 11.
No,
Yay.
I'm serious. Your face hasn't
Really?
changed much. I'm sitting here
That's
going,
true.
how do I know her? Jay Moore's a good friend of
Oh,
ours.
Action,
He was
right.
so nice. I was like 11. It was awesome.
Your face is the same though, because I'm
is.
sitting there like, how do I know? That's why we asked what you've been in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, fucking Action.
I auditioned
I
for
liked
that.
Action.
Yeah, that was a good show.
That was pretty
Absolutely.
groundbreaking with the
Yeah.
cursing that they beeped, right?
Yeah, that's what was so annoying about it, though. You know, like the
yeah.
bleeps.
Why
Yeah.
beep it? We know what he's saying.
Yeah.
Thanks to whoever on his feedback. It's just a phone number, but right on.
Would
All
that
right.
get one season? That got one season, right?
One season.
You should have
yeah.
probably got more. I heard it was
Yeah.
There's the
funny.
one-season kid.
That's me.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's what they call me.
Have you done a couple of series and got one season?
Yeah. I mean, it happens. They also call me Gravy Leg Paxton.
Sarah, you wouldn't know to
Leg?
look at her, but Sarah has a really peculiar sense of humor in that, I'm going to throw you under the bus here, but when we would be shooting the movie, we'd be like, we're ready to shoot the scene. She's like, hold on, I got to take a dump.
And then you got to shoot the rest of the day with a heart on.
I know. So, and that's how it started, and it just spiraled out of control from there. So Sarah has you wouldn't.
Gravy leg Paxton.
Last night at the
like
Q&A, it's she like derailed it into the world of like two in the pink, one in the stink, and everyone's like, how's it going? How's it going down this road?
I can't talk about that. But like, there's a part where I'm like, I can't move, and I'm in the movie. I'm like strapped down. I can't go anywhere. And you guys hired. Oh, sorry, I'm forgetting this microphone thing. You guys hired the like real life paramedic guys from Torrington, and so I had a sheet over my face or whatever, and they were like whispering shit in my ear the whole time. They were like, "Hey, you want the shocker?" Like, and I couldn't move. And I was like, no.
Man.
And they were like, one in the pink, two in the stink, and I was like,
Some kind of
It's a great place.
I
A lot of
think you have a
people-
lawsuit.
They were like farting in my face
really.
the whole time, and then like when they finally like released me, I was like, Ty, they were farting in my face the whole time.
And you would
It
think
was
that I would
horrible.
like want to like come to her rescue, except
Yeah.
for like all of this is just comeuppance for her doing that to everybody else the whole shoot.
Do you fart in their face?
Payback.
I mean,
Don't lie.
Whatever, not in their face.
Whatever.
That's rude, you know. But I
In
just,
the
like,
room.
in the general area.
Just think the whole room up like
You drop
Jimmy.
heat wherever you want.
Hey.
She has scatological humor. I like that.
Yeah, you wouldn't, and again, you wouldn't know
Shocking.
looking at her. She
Yeah.
looks
No.
very,
Once
very
you get her
sweet
going,
and
you
tame.
can't get her off the subject.
Yeah.
There was a lot of shit going down. I mean, George Riddle, okay, who plays
The older gentleman.
the older
Oh, yeah,
gentleman,
yeah.
saw his balls. Didn't
Wow,
want to
that
see
must have been
that's
like
great.
Didn't want to see them.
melting
you know.
Turkish taffy.
Saw his balls.
Oh,
It was
God.
strange. He also
big?
farted in my face. They were saggy.
Well, gravity has been taking its toll for a while on that
he farted
gentleman.
in my face by accident. He was like, "Drop my phone," and I was like,
Oh, no.
That is gross.
But he's a funny guy. So again, all of this I think is, well, it's all comeuppance for Sarah doing this to everybody else. But yeah, George is a really funny guy.
Yeah, he's funny.
Do you purposely not flush the bowl? That's very antisocial behavior.
Dude, I totally.
She top shelves everybody. That's the best.
I like to save water, you know.
We lived in the hotel, we shot in the hotel, we ate in the hotel, we had to amuse ourselves somehow.
Yeah,
We went straight
yeah.
to that because
It
we're
was
all
awesome.
children.
Like going to work, walk downstairs to the lobby.
One of my greatest moments ever was when I was doing the festival, some festival, and Bob Kelly was there. And I took my girlfriend at the time in his room, and I had to shit. And I took Bob's garbage bag out of his garbage can in the living room while he was in his bathroom, and I shit into it. And then I put it back in his garbage can, and I knew his room would stink. He told the story recently.
Horrible.
Yeah, it was one of my finest moments as a person.
Did you like it?
Dude, you know how sick he gets so fast.
Shit in my gut.
What's fucking wrong with you?
This puking and yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, shit humor's great.
It's great.
Phenomenal.
Big
Yeah.
One day we'll outgrow it, maybe.
No, I can never see that happening.
No, probably not.
Hey, in the movie, that woman with the child there.
Yeah.
What's her whole angle in the movie? Is she just there for a reaction or?
Well, there's an element of, like, I guess, comic relief to it, but I think that her character, the old man, all of the sort of peripheral characters outside of Sarah, and to some degree Pat, are, they're really kind of representations of, like, what roads you could take to not sound incredibly cheesy. But, the movie is about Sarah not quite, she has this like, minimum wage job and she's never really thought about it. And then like this celebrity comes and she's so excited to meet her, and then the celebrity's an asshole. Yeah. And he's like, oh, what do you do? And she's like, I work at the hotel. And she's like, no, but in real life, what do you do? And she's like, I work at the hotel. And so it like kind of calls into question like, if you just have one of these jobs, like, is that not okay? Wait, should I be doing more? And that's what kind of leads her to, like, latch on to the ghost hunting, because it's something to kind of be not apathetic about. So, like, the mom who's, like, had a fight with her husband is staying there with her kids. Like, these are all, like, different roads that people can take. And the old man and how he's come back and things like that. So, plus some comic relief or some little foreshadowing to it.
Oh, yeah. I obviously don't want to give anything away. But
I have to see it.
The ghost story thing, when you're telling the ghost story, that thing is hilarious.
Because
you just don't, you don't
really
realize.
Sarah and I don't like children.
Dude, that
yes,
kid.
great.
Yeah.
And everyone always says like working with kids is really hard.
Yeah.
And well, I just dug my own grave with this one. But, so
their feet start kicking. Sorry, Ty.
So I thought I want to get like the really stage mom kid who's like the adult in the little bodies who's just like, what am I doing here? But then you start to think like, no, I got to get the real thing, because it's about, we got to be real and we got to get the real pure thing. Sucks. So I went and got like a real kid, but real kids, when the boom comes in the shot, they go, huh? And they look at it.
Right.
So you're doing a lot of takes. Now, in fairness, this kid was actually pretty good, but I'm not a kid person. I'm an only child. I'm a
I
weirdo.
was so mean to
I'm
that
not
kid.
good with kids. And Sarah, I discovered, is
I was
awful
like, how old are you?
children.
Like 14? You still shitting your pants? Like, and you're just like,
and so this poor kid, he's great and he's awesome in the movie, but like it was such a weird, where I was like, I don't really know how to relate to this situation and be like, well, don't look at the boom. But then I was like, well, maybe I should talk to him in like kid voice. So I kind of made the AD, who was a girl, I was like, do you like kids? She's like, I was like, you need to just handle this for me. So
deal with that.
We got
bribed him with
We did
pizza
bribe
rolls.
him with pizza rolls. Yeah. But it's really funny because
smart.
it comes across how probably I feel, because I wrote the movie, and how Sarah feels in acting in the movie, is because the scene you're talking about is she's telling the kind of the ghost story of the movie. She's telling it to this little kid to like scare him, and she's just kind of being an asshole.
Yeah, definitely, just to scare him.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Gets mommy pissed off. Yeah.
And then he's raped.
Yeah, and then
that was my
child
favorite
rape.
part. I mean, I don't know if I'm alone here.
We
but
thought about cutting out the child rape,
No.
but you know what?
Yeah.
You gotta
Highlight.
go for it.
No, you should lead with it. Open with it.
Yeah.
Should be in every
Under the end
trailer.
credits. Yeah, like a blooper reel.
Yeah.
One thing I love the fact Ty has been listening to this dumbass show for
a while,
fucking years.
obviously.
It's true, probably for like, 10 years or so. Probably I moved to New York in like 99, and that's probably when you guys came on my radar. And yeah, I mean, I've heard you get fired a bunch of times.
Yeah, he's heard that, and as a matter of fact, you knew Melissa, my girlfriend, out in L.A.
Yep.
And they used to like talk about the show.
I introduced her to the show.
Yeah. He introduced her to this show.
You ruined her life.
And absolutely. But then at some point, I guess she got in touch with you, or somehow, you got in touch with her, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm going out with Anthony." And you're like, "Get the fuck out!"
I started hearing it on the show, and I started being like, "This is like worlds colliding. It's so weird."
What the fuck is that? Yeah, and I was very proud. As I was watching the movie, there is a line in the movie that
on the show?
He said he attributed to me.
Yeah.
And it's
what was it? Hang him. Get me that cross in the gasoline.
Pat's
iron my hood.
Pat's lines. He goes.
I think he says, "I don't know a lot, but I do know a little bit about a lot of things."
I know a little bit about a lot of things. And when he said that, I was like, "Hey, I used to say that." Oh, and then he told me, he's like, "Oh yeah. Remember hearing you say that one." But it is very fucking cool that you've been listening to the show. And I was like,
pretty consistently for a long time, and that's like a lot of content that like comes in that nobody I know has any idea what the fuck I'm talking about. So I can't really be like, "Did you hear?" Because no one I know like in LA knows the show that well.
Yeah.
And
well, that's a bummer.
Well, it's only people that I know.
You kind of want LA to know us.
But,
yeah.
So it's, and I try to introduce people to it, and then that's the project. Because
like,
the first thing they'll hear, it'll be like, and I'm like, it's not always like that. Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
yes, it is.
Usually they're not like this.
No, he leaves the rape alone for a second. They go to retards. And I
He's
swear,
not racist. Well, he might be racist. I'm not sure.
We're not really sure where he stands.
It's a persona,
but he's
I don't know,
probably racist.
Yeah. But that amount of content comes in that when sort of you write something, it's like It's very strange. I've never listened to something so consistently that long. That's like, 4 hours a day. So like, I'll just be on my computer doing stuff and it's just sort of in the background. So it does kind of filter in. It's weird.
Yeah.
I did a movie with the movie that I tried to take my name off. I did with Judah a while back, and I'd known Judah before 30 Rock and all that. And we had talked about the show back then and things like that. And I think in that movie there was several show references. I think so. I don't really remember what they are, but the movie got so fucked up. But there were a few show references.
Nice. Yeah, that movie got fucking
I'll do a great job in your space movie. I'm telling you, I'm ready.
Oh, my God.
You see the moon, I see my next home.
He's always
He
angry.
is brilliant. He's good.
He's pounding his fist.
He is good. He is good.
Great choice.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
Let people know you're really amped up.
Can you play Asian? Because there's a lot of Asians in the movie.
Sure.
Look at him.
Oh,
Show him your dick, Jimmy.
So,
Amy Schumer, Caroline.
Oh, shit. Well, this has been a lot of fun, man. I mean, we wanted to have you on for a while.
yeah, we definitely appreciate you having us.
fuck yeah.
We're a little movie, and you guys do have a big audience, despite not my friends in LA listening to it. I think there are plenty of people that do listen
I'm
to
just
it.
fucking with you, Tom.
Yeah.
It's very cool, man.
What's the big plug? The movie once again.
Well, the movie's called The Innkeepers.
And what it's about too, because we've been talking for so long, we got a whole new audience that keep tuning in.
The movie is a horror movie about these two nerds that work in a haunted hotel, and they try to get proof that it's haunted before it goes out of business, and they get in over their heads. And it's currently available on VOD, so you can order it through the delightful Time Warner.
Yes.
Or Fios.
The wonderful Fios.
Or you can get it on iTunes or Amazon or anything like that. But if you live in a major city, I would appreciate it if you went and saw it in the theater, because, we worked, it's been a year making this movie and meticulously crafting it to be seen on a big screen with loud sound.
It's fun to watch with an audience.
It is.
Everybody's in it together.
That's why I was saying I don't like going to the movies unless it's something where you look around and go, fuck, people are having a good time and really laughing and
yelling,
jumping
screaming.
and shit like that. And it was one of those movies where I was glad I saw it in the theater.
I'm absolutely going to watch it tonight.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And if you do watch it at home, it's good because a lot of people now have nice plasma TVs and 5.1 sound. It's getting better. But for my ulcers, just watch it a little loud and try to enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
Experience.
But the other plug is February 3rd.
I'm gonna watch it on my phone.
Yeah,
just like he made it.
I know this is the way he wants me to watch it.
Seen on the time you glance at it. Yeah, I know what's going on.
That's Starbucks.
That's fine. I almost died making it. It's fine. Yeah.
February 3rd, right? Yeah.
And
there's comedy in this too. You should tell me.
I think at least the first half is probably comedy. Cool. It's dry comedy, so it's
Sarah
not like.
Are funny.
Yeah, I think they are very funny.
Yeah.
I think there's a scene where Sarah takes out the trash. Just out of all, I've made 6 movies.
Well, that's always
hilarious. Yeah, very funny. And then she gets raped.
Great rape.
So wait for it. Wait for the rape.
Wait for it. Yeah.
It's terrible. There's so much rape.
Come for the horror. Stay for the rape.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. And Sarah, what are you in next? Anything? You're just promoting this for right now? Or?
I'm just promoting this. I have a movie coming out next year called Liars All. It's another independent movie. So yeah.
Cool.
Woohoo.
The indie
Sarah's
chick.
great. She's gonna blow up and then never talk to me again.
Oh yeah.
I look forward to it.
That's
it's already
what happens.
happening.
I already
She doesn't seem
don't talk to you.
interested.
Yeah.
Who are you? Do I know you?
That's what
No, you don't.
happens.
Yeah, I actually drove us here. That's all I did. Yeah.
And Amy tonight through Sunday night is at Caroline's, 212-757-4100.
Headlining.
Great comic.
Headlining.
Come out.
Please come out to see Amy.
And also, just so people know, it's really important.
Look, here it comes.
Oh.
That I will be in Phoenix at the end of the month.
Oh, Arizona?
No, not Phoenix.
He's
Tempe.
doing court.
Oh, Tempe,
January
Arizona.
27, 28, Tempe Improv. It's my first time out there. That's supposed to start like a real buzz.
Oh, yeah. There's like a lot of buzz around that show.
Let's get people.
Tempe's an industry
I
hotbed.
heard Bill Paxton might come.
See, there you go.
So give him a call. Let him know.
Arizona
Jimmy,
rocks.
Yeah,
I like
if I can bring
Arizona.
one thing for Anthony to the show, and I'll probably regret it. There's a movie that I think you should see.
Mississippi Burning.
You're on the right track. This is a movie that stopped me in my tracks, which very few movies do. It's a movie from the 70s. It's called Goodbye, Uncle Tom. And I can't recommend it to anyone because it's,
Is it brutal?
What it is it's this fake documentary. These Italian filmmakers that made these movies, Mondo Cane, which are these kind of exploitation movies from the 70s. They made this documentary about slavery, so they went to the South to document it. But that doesn't make any sense because they made it in the 70s.
Yeah.
So there's this weird what did they go back in time? But they never really explain that. And it starts off with people talking about slavery, and it's you're all right, this is all sort of well and good. And then it just starts to go off the rails.
Oh,
and it
shit.
goes into a territory that's I mean, at this point in my life, I've seen so few movies that I went like, oh my god, and it like stopped me in my track. And they shot it like in Haiti. It's clearly like slave labor. So, but the production value is incredible because it's like, well, look, there's 700 naked extras eating out of that slop trough.
Holy shit!
I've never seen anything like it, but it's something else. It's not. I mean,
I will check it out.
It's weird, but then it goes all the way up to weird, like the Black Power movement in the 70s. It's a really unique movie, but we sweat watching it. It's just like, oh god, does anyone know I'm watching this? Because I don't know if it's like
shut the shades. Yeah,
it's not like it's necessarily like a racist movie by any means. Like that's how I kind of made it sound. It's not. It's just such an odd subject matter to take on, and it's such an odd. The scope is humongous.
Should I be watching this? Yeah.
It's like the kind of thing where it's like, well, you know what, we need to hang a bunch of people upside down in the background. Well, it's Haiti, so we'll just do that. And so
shit!
You've never seen anything like it. It's crazy.
Wow, yeah, not many laws down there
I don't know
governing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Holy shit, that sounds fun.
Sounds great.
Sounds like a good.
I watched it at Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving,
it's a perfect time for movie
giving
like that.
thanks.
I'm thankful
for all the free labor that built this country.
Oh god.
Yes, well, come on.
So great.
No, but there's payback in the end. There's a.
Damn it! I'll shut it off before that.
A blonde with a big black dick in her. They certainly do know how to show us his boss. That trumps everything. I can't do that. I've never gotten that reaction.
I fucking don't like that.
Is that it for us for today?
I don't like that, Jim.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I think we've done it.
You should see. I'm gonna send you a link to one of the videos I've been watching lately. You might like it.
Yeah.
Where black guy's fucking her. She's calling him sir.
No, I don't. I don't really like the interracial sex
That's one of
videos.
Sarah's jam.
I'm pretty.
Yeah, that's your thing.
What can I say?
Yeah. That was never my thing, but it's really gotten kind of some of the. I just don't want the husband's dumb face in it. I just like when he's holding the video camera.
Yeah.
Being a good boy.
There's a lot of porno references in the movie, and there's a great website called Salsa Snack. Do you know Salsa Snack?
Oh my god.
So I want to put on the DVD as a bonus feature. Do you know how everyone did the 2 girls 1 cup reactions?
Yeah.
Salsa Snack. Great site. And no one knew it, so we have a reaction video of everyone and Sarah losing her mind, being like, ah!
Oh, really? Yeah.
So I want to see that maybe.
Well, can we turn it up?
I want to see that.
Whoa, prolapse anus. Jesus.
Sorry.
Oh, God, that's
Spoiler.
wonderful.
That's a spoiler.
Oh, no, believe me, it's fine.
You're right.
In Salsa Snack.
I thought there was like some butthole jive happening.
Well, there is
butthole jive.
Everything,
now that
but
is
it's
more
that.
up my alley.
Are you
but it has a great
that
soundtrack.
sounds interracial.
It's great.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, we might have seen it on called something else.
Oh,
No,
one.
I think it's Salsa Snack.
One jar, one guy, or
It's not one jar, one guy.
Oh, no, it's not.
You guys ruined my life with that one.
Yeah,
Why?
that was a bad one.
Tub Girl from
You were thinking about
Oh, Tub Girl.
Tub Girl.
Tub Girl's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we laugh at Tub Girl.
That's an appetizer.
Salsa Snack
amazing.
is just
See
someone
someone bleed
mixing a
out.
bunch of things together,
Okay.
coming out of several places.
Oh,
good.
wow.
But to the tune of Journey.
Really?
Which is what really makes it.
Hence
Any way you
the
want
salsa.
Oh,
Any way you
great.
want it.
Sure.
Then that's the way you need it, right?
I can't stop watching the fake casting director one, where he's like, I'm not a
those are
real
good.
casting director. You haven't seen these?
Those are the ones that have like the multiple angles.
Yeah,
at one
it's
point.
always the same guy, and a
it
girl
porn?
comes in. Yeah, and it sort of is under the guise of, and it really seems like it's these girls'
Sure.
first time. I buy it. I mean, I don't really buy
blurs
it.
his
good.
face, right?
Yeah, he always blurs his face.
We go to the same sites.
But yeah, we have the same taste. Lars von Trier and Fucktown too. I really like that one. Kurt Metzger likes it too.
Yeah.
Do you see the one with the 2 friends? What's the guy? Casting Couch. That's the guy's thing. Those are good.
I would try that.
Yeah, you got to check it
You
out.
tried the casting couch?
I like the amateur stuff. A lot of
too.
times they're professionals who look like amateurs because they have to get them to sign releases. But it sounds pretty hot.
It's good. It is. I've been on that for a while.
It's too close to home for me.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, God.
I saw you in one of those.
Backstage.
Sarah
What?
Paxton, bend over.
Yeah.
I just love it because the girls always come in and they're like, my boyfriend's waiting in the car, I can't. And then they just cut them bent over, like taking it.
It's like
they
no-
begged for it.
No more story.
Yeah, I
Get
only
right to
really
the
enjoy
action.
it if it seems like the girl's not into it.
Yeah.
Is that what you like?
You should watch every time I fuck.
And speaking of hot, boy, let me tell you, iTunes. Check out. I got another Live from the Compound up there.
Oh, good.
We sit and watch toddlers and tiaras and comment on the horrific moms and sluttily dressed children.
Oh, that sounds good.
Did that one last night with the new toddlers and tiaras. That was
Also-
that's on iTunes.
Also, Stunt Brain took care of us. That video of Chris Kyle from yesterday.
Yeah.
the Navy SEAL sharpshooter who told the story of punching Jesse Ventura and pretty much knocking him either out, definitely down.
You knocked him down. You knocked him out.
Told the story on our show yesterday. Not many people knew about this thing until yesterday. Stunt Brain, our old producer, got it on the front page of The Blaze. So
was that recently that he punched Jesse, or back in the day?
A few years ago.
2006, I want to say.
The guy called up and said something. Opie said, well, what about that story about you fighting Jesse Ventura? And the guy goes, so I'm like, I didn't realize it was not a public story.
Right. But he went with it. He said, fuck it.
He told the story.
But you could see it on his face, like, fuck, not many people know this.
Or something?
No.
I mean, it was just, one Navy SEAL punching another one. I mean,
but it's on the front page of The Blaze. TheBlaze.com has the whole story, the video and the whole story. So
I punched someone last year at a holiday party, and it's really weird when you punch someone as a grown-up. It's a totally different feeling.
Why'd you hit him?
He poured
beer
or
her.
On
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or her.
She burnt dinner.
He poured beer on you, so you socked him in the jaw?
Yeah, but it's weird, like, as an adult to do that. It's a totally different feeling.
I would gather, yeah. I haven't punched anyone in so long.
No.
Did you knock him out?
I broke his nose.
Nice.
It ended the party quickly.
All right.
Oh, really? That's a real downer at a party.
Bravo.
Yeah, but I mean, it was weird because it's as an adult, you're like, this sucks. How did this just happen? But it's.
Are you friends with him still?
I don't really know him.
Why did he pour beer on you?
He's probably drunk. I don't know.
Okay. Just some drunk guy drinking beer.
And no lawsuit? Because that's what you always have to worry about these days.
Sock to the nose.
Everyone sues now.
It's one of those things. It's just like shit happens.
Cool.
Yeah. That's almost an assault. You pour beer on somebody. He's got the right to punch you.
Yeah, good for Ty West and Sarah Paxton.
Yes.
All right, we should go, I guess.
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here.
I got a tinkle.
Very good.
Thanks, Schumer.
Thanks, guys.
Yes,
I'll race you guys to that.
My pleasure.
Sarah, Amy, Ty.
Yeah, to the elevators we go.
We'll race to see if we can get out of here first.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow, I guess, right?
Sarah and I are going to go take dumps on each other.
Hot.
Robin.